I think there's a certain internal angst to Arjun that some people feel is maybe similar to Kabir, but people say a lot when they see a promo, and very little comes through. So people need to see the film, and once they see it, maybe it'll be clear.
But दोनों में यार कुछ तो है. The way they perform on set is just so mesmerizing and enchanting to just stand there and watch them.
ये ना
अगर
लड़की
मुझे
हमेशा
नहीं
इंटरव्यू में
I tell
अंडरप्ले
you-
करती है कि लोग जाके बोले मृणाल इतनी तारीफ करती है, बट एक्चुअली मृणाल कितनी अच्छी है ना, तेरी यही स्ट्रेटजी है. Definitely the best directors are influenced by the numbers of the actors that they work with, and I want to be very candid, that's what I feel. I don't feel that the most successful directors in this country would work with somebody who brings no value in terms of commerce to their film.
Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pink Villa. Today we have with us the leading actors of Jersey, Shahid Kapoor and Mrunal Thakur. Welcome to Pink Villa guys, it's lovely having you here.
Thank you
And
so much.
firstly, congratulations, the trailer, the song, everything looks amazing of the film
Thank
so
you.
far. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Shahid, my first question is to you. After Kabir Singh, all the eyes were on you as to what next. So how did you decide on Jersey as a follow-up to something as mammoth as Kabir Singh, and then of course there was Padmavat as well. In between there was Batti Gul, but yeah, Padmavat, Kabir Singh, and now.
How you say? Batti Gul.
Batti Gul.
हो गया. No, I mean, it's always a difficult decision about what you're going to take up next, and I think as you do more and more work, that decision becomes more difficult. Because in the beginning there's a lot of excitement about working and about doing things. So as time goes by, you want to dedicate your time to something that you're very passionate about. And so whether you're coming from a successful film or from a film that wasn't so successful, you want to give your time to something which is worth it, and where you can enrich yourself and try and do something new. But yes, of course, there was pressure of making a decision after something as successful as Kabir Singh. The one thing I knew is I don't want to do the same thing again. I was very clear about that. But everybody seemed to think that I should do something similar. And I think Arjun is as diametrically opposite to Kabir as two characters can be. I think there's a certain internal angst to Arjun that some people feel is maybe similar to Kabir, but people say a lot when they see a promo, and very little comes through. So people need to see the film, and once they see it, maybe it'll be clear. However, Jersey was a subject that hit home for me when I saw it. Obviously the original was performed by Nani, and at least my character, and I when I saw the film, I was emotionally moved. I kept crying after seeing the film, and it took me some time, and crying in a very happy way. It was a beautiful emotion. I wasn't sad. I was overwhelmed. That was the emotion that I felt. Overwhelmed with emotion, and very inspired, and a little bit in awe of the character and the story and the way the director told the film. So it just stayed with me. I'd seen it, and it took a few months for me to take that decision. But even though I was listening to a lot of other stuff and things like that, nothing made me feel the way I felt about this subject. And so I felt that if it's something that's staying with me for such a long period of time, that means there is something very pure and beautiful and good about it. And therefore I took the decision to do it.
Okay. And Mrunal, do you remember the first time when you watched Jersey? What was your reaction like to the film and your character?
I watched the film when I was in Goa shooting for Ghost Stories, and I was trying to connect with our director, Gautam sir, and because of low network, I was just not able to have that conversation in one length. The first time I watched the movie, there was so much emotions that was rushing through me, and I felt like it's been a while that I had seen a movie like that. A movie about emotions of the bond between the father and the son. Cricket, there's so much passion in it. This this love story, the marriage, the broken marriage. So for me, the character, if you ask me about Vidya, it was a very, very challenging character. And when I was watching the movie, and I was constantly thinking that how good is Shraddha? How will I be able to pull off, I'm really happy that I did this film, because I have discovered so many so many layers that you can add to a character. I'd never done something like this before. This is also about for me to discover a few things. Like as an actor, as a performer, I have discovered so many things because I believe when I was on set, the most of the learning happened behind the scenes. When it comes to observing Shahid perform, get into Arjun's skin, it was really a marvelous experience for me. We have always seen his performances, even be it Heather, or Heather is one of my. It's a very close. It's a film which is very close to my heart because of the performance, because of Vishal Bharadwaj, because it's shot in Kashmir and the way it is shot. But to witness the same magic that he's in person was very overwhelming to an extent where I would actually forget my lines.
You never. When did you get it?
I did. I forgot my lines multiple times, and I'm like,
मुझे लगता है तू बहुत अच्छी acting कर रही है. She's taking such an unexpected pause. Where she would go and like, wow, that was really natural.
Yeah.
line भूल रही थी, but it worked for you.
I can't confessing.
really worked
I
for you.
hope. I'm so happy it did. It did. So my first, talking about getting back to your question, I had to be a part of this movie. Also, I was contemplating, and I think a lot. I overthink a lot because I was also shooting Tufan at the same time, and it was difficult. It was a very difficult decision, but I really genuinely wanted to be a part of this process because the character graph of Vidya. The way Arjun, the story, for me, the story itself was a winner. And I just had to be Vidya. It would have been really foolish if I wouldn't have done that. I think Vidya chose me. I did not choose Vidya. It's a marvelous, and I can't wait for you guys to witness the magic that Gautam sir has created. Also, when I was talking to him about the character, he said, "Mrunal, I want you to perform the way you want it to be. I want some certain freshness to this character. I'm not limiting you to perform just exactly how it was done." So it was a very lovely journey and overwhelming, and I've learned a lot from Pankaj sir too. I think I'm extremely blessed to be a part of this movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if we look at the story of Jersey, this question is for actually both of you. Everyone interprets it in a different way. For some, it is a coming of age story of an aged cricketer who makes a comeback. For some, it's a love story. For some, it's a father-son story. What is your interpretation of this film, this story?
There's no interpretation required. Everything that you've said is a part of the same subject, and all these elements come together to complete the experience of Jersey. And that is what is the nicest thing about the film, because it has almost everything.
Yeah.
Without ever losing its emotional thrust, without ever kind of deviating. You will always feel that there is a emotion that is driving you forward. At least I might be wrong, but that's how I feel. Is that there is an emotion that is driving you forward through the entire narrative of the film. And that emotion doesn't leave you. It leaves you maybe for just 7-8 scenes in the middle, which are of a certain nature. And it's not a heavy emotion. It's an intense emotion. So I don't think it's a low emotion. I think it's a uplifting emotion. And in the middle of that, there is the younger love story. There is the older husband-wife dynamic. There is the husband-wife-child dynamic. There is the sports backdrop. There is the the sportsman and the coach dynamic. There is a past and present dynamic. There is stages of marriage, and there's life. Life like we know it. It's a very personal film. As much as people think that Jersey might be a sports drama, I think Jersey is a very personal film. I think there was something very personal about what Gautam felt when he wrote this subject. The director of the film, he wrote the subject, and I think that comes through in the way he wanted us to perform it. I think there was an internal, there was something very intense deep inside him, and he wanted that to come through this subject. And I think we were all chasing that as actors to try and find that, because it is a very, it's a intense, passionate, very emotional, yet very uplifting kind of a film.
True.
I feel there are so many moments in the film which are relatable. And I think when the audience would, like when I watched it as an audience, I could relate to so many there are circumstances, there are situations, there's a individual work, behaving in a certain pattern because the situation,
Yeah.
the circumstances are such.
Yeah.
So I feel whenever you would watch the movie, you would experience its slice of life. You will be able to relate it. You will be able to relate to Arjun, to Vidya, like why they are the way they are. So yeah.
I think it's it's celebrating things that are considered normal in life,
Yes.
but those things are not normal for everybody.
Hmm.
They are what constitute the common man's life.
Hmm.
You know, a normal guy or a normal woman, they spend their whole life doing certain things which are considered like ये तो आपको करना ही
करना
है.
ही है.
But it takes so much to do those things, right?
Yeah.
So it's celebrating those things, and I think that's really the best part
best
of
Part of
Jersey.
the film. And Nani in an interview said that Shahid Kapoor has performed better than me in the Hindi version of.
I don't think he ever said that. I
No.
think he said that he thinks I'll do really well, but that's just very humble of him and very kind of him. Nani is the reason I did this film. His performance and the way it moved me, really inspired me to take the subject on for the Hindi fraternity and for the Hindi film
Yeah.
film going audience. But he is spectacular, and he will always be the original Arjun, because I was inspired by his performance. He was spectacular.
Correct. And Mrunal, like you said, when you watched the film and after that you had a word with director, he said that he wants you to bring your own take to the character.
Yes.
So how difficult is it for you to approach a character with a fresh light when you have already seen someone portray it on the screen?
It's better, no, because you know what exactly not to do when you've seen it.
Yeah.
But trust me, it is really like this question I would keep asking me myself, like how do I make it different? I think what was important for me was to feel the moment, to be in the moment, to enjoy and witness the emotions and the journey. It was just give and take, yeah. Like I was just responding to the situations, and the scenes are
Scenes.
such beautifully written. I can't tell you, like every time we would read the scene, and after we did the blocking, the scene would just elevate. It's also I'm really happy that Gautam sir never put that pressure on my shoulder that, oh no, you have to perform exactly what we did.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, and also like it's a very difficult question. I just don't know how to put it in words, but yeah, if Gautam sir would have told me na कि आपको वैसे ही करना है, तो मैं बहुत डर जाती. In fact, the initial few days, I would like to confess this, I was very scared. I was afraid, and I was new to Vidya, and there was a time where I felt like I would not be able to do it. So I literally told Aman, my producer, कि मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है ये. He said, "Are you crazy, Mrunal?" But as like the second sked, when I was completely into the character, and when I was on Jersey, because I was shooting another film as well, and that's, I think, really unfair to the characters we play. I think that's the lesson that I have learned, that I need to do one film at a time in order to, and I wanted to invest in Vidya, and Vidya is a very difficult character. She's very practical,
Yeah.
but if you ask Mrunal, she's a very emotional person. So for me, it was a different thing.
Yeah.
So it is really nice, because in this process I kind of found, like after this first sked, I found Vidya, and yeah, I think surrendering was also important. I just surrendered to my co-actor, my Arjun, and Gautam sir. उनके आंखों में देख के समझ में आता था कि एक shot देने के बाद the way he would look at me, he said, no, sir, let's go for one more. People didn't say
you could feel
anything.
it in his eyes.
You could
Yeah.
feel it in his eyes, and he's so calm. Like that's the best thing about Gautam sir. He's so calm, and he exactly knows what you want. That's when you are able to trust and when you trust the director, it just flows. The performance just flows. So it just happened. There's no efforts that I had to take.
True. And Shahid, you are a fantastic actor. Everyone knows it. Like, we may find a bad Shahid Kapoor film, but not a bad Shahid Kapoor performance.
Yeah.
But now, do you even feel, because everyone knows that your performance is going to be good, but is there an added pressure of numbers? Do you take that pressure now after delivering such huge blockbusters? Because trade and producers and everyone expect that from you now. So
Yeah, but none of them know how those numbers happen. I think we all spend years and years in this field. Of course, we all want to be loved by as many people as possible, and I think numbers are very important. definitely the best directors are influenced by the numbers of the actors that they work with. And I want to be very candid. That's what I feel. I don't feel that the most successful directors in this country would work with somebody who brings no value in terms of commerce to their film. I've not really seen that happen. I mean, if you go back, you'll never see that very rarely. So of course numbers matter, you know, and if we want to work with the best people and if we want to collaborate with the biggest talents, then we also have to bring something to the table, even in terms of numbers. So that does play, you know, if I was to speak professionally. If I was to speak personally, what's most important is that have we made the film we wanted to make? Have people felt what we wanted to tell them? Have we been able to give them an experience that they felt was worthy of the amount of time that they chose to invest and paid money for? And whether we were able to grow from that experience and you know, learn something new so that we enrich ourselves to be better artists and more wholesome, and we can add something in the coming film. I think those are the things that define why you do movies. Right? Having said that, you have to be responsible and aware of where you're at, what the expectations are, what is the size and scale of a subject that you're doing, what is the kind of recovery that would be involved in that, what kind of people would need to see that film for that kind of recovery to happen. So of course you have to be aware of all those things, and that was all there in my head. But being aware of all that, your decision should still come from your heart, and Jersey came from my heart.
Correct. But has your script sense changed in any way because of that?
People still think I have really bad script sense because I did some not so nice films. But you know, the thing with the script is that only the actor or the team read it before it turned into a movie, right? And a lot of times something that's okay on paper turns out really good, and sometimes something that looked really nice on paper just doesn't turn out right, you know, and that's the magic of cinema. Of course, you have to learn and hone the craft of understanding who to trust, understanding what they want to make, understanding which one seems to have the right set of people, because eventually a film is made with people. You know, whatever's on paper, those 100 pages or 120 pages, that's just paper. It's that team that comes together to make the film. You know, so what's important is to find something that has potential on paper and then work with people who can take it to where it needs to get to.
True. And Mrunal, you know, you work with Shahid in Jersey, and I think you're doing Pippa with Ishan. Could you tell us how is the experience of working both of them, and how?
I'll tell you one similarity between both of them. They work so hard. They work so hard that every time you are on set with them performing, you feel them. You feel for them.
When is Pippa releasing?
9 December.
9 December 2022.
Next year. So, and sometimes, and on dono mein bahut jhalak hai. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to Shahid, and I keep telling him, yaar, so he's like, respond, kahan na kuch to bol. Dude, you just like Shahid, the way you talk, the way you. But दोनों में यार कुछ तो है. The way they perform on set is just so mesmerizing and enchanting to just stand there and watch them.
ये ना लड़की हमेशा इंटरव्यू में अंडरप्ले करती है कि लोग जाके बोले मृणाल इतनी तारीफ करती है, बट एक्चुअली मृणाल कितनी अच्छी है ना, तेरी ये स्ट्रेटजी है.
हाँ क्या, मुझे पता नहीं था, but I'll use it from now.
Because this happened, okay, I saw the film a couple of days back and the director came and said, Mrunal is damn good in this film. You know, so people really love you in the film.
Listen, it's really nice because if Gautam sir is saying that,
yeah, he's not somebody who says these things.
He's not somebody who would say that. So.
Yeah, he's...
No, but having said that, like there was a scene which I performed with Ishan also. And I was not supposed to cry, but I got so teary and I'm like, sorry guys. And I didn't want to break his flow, but I just kept holding it back. So that's the intensity that both
he is way more intense than me, I feel. You know, I feel like he is so ghusa hua and he's so passionate to a point where I have to tell him, you know, I don't want to know which is your favorite new film. I don't want you to send me these, you know, ki abhi you've not seen this film? I'm judging you. You better have seen it. So I'm like, calm down, Ishan. और भी चीज़ होती है life के अंदर. But he is like completely obsessed. And I love that about him, you know, because the only thing I spoke to him when he got his break, I was like, you know, I hope you're not making that classic mistake that just because somebody related to you is an actor and you have access to that opportunity, you're going out there and doing it, right? I hope you're bringing something from inside to this opportunity and to this career that you are choosing. And I must say that, you know, he has impressed me so much and I feel very proud of him. In fact, I draw a lot of inspiration from him many times. You know, he's very dedicated, very focused, very detailed, you know, very precise, you know, so he's Very good. And both of them will be excellent in the film together, you know, because Mrunal also comes from that new age, you know, the new age actors who are kind of bringing something new. Like I can sense it in her energy. Like I think she's still figuring it, how to exactly go about it. But I know that there is a lot inside her that she wants to do, you know, and I know that it'll all come. It's on its way. It's
I'm on
already
the
just
path of
started.
discovery
But
right
I
now.
know, like deep down, she wants to do certain type of stuff, you know, and you know, it's just that eventually it's just that need to do something fantastic, do something new, and challenge yourself and show the world what it is that you really want to do, and not feel tied down by the opportunities of what is in front of you, of what is being offered to you. I see that, you know, that need, that drive, that desperation inside some of them. And she's definitely one of them. So I am very excited to see what work she brings in, you know, out in the next few years, and Ishan for sure.
Correct.
And so I'm very excited to see both of them together, and I think Vippa is a great subject. So.
Correct.
Yay.
And last couple of questions, Shahid. Next up for you is a film with Ali Abbas Zafar, who I call the master of commercial cinema in current times, the films that he has made. How excited are you for that film? You have been shooting for it.
Yeah, we've been shooting right now. I'm just exhausted from that film because we have a lot of action. And it's a very character-driven subject, and it's a very intense film. And I've had a great time working with Ali. You know, I know Ali. He was actually working on Badmaash Company as the associate, as the first on the film, I think. And so I have known him for like over a decade, you know, for 12, 13 years. And, you know, when I saw the films that he was making, I wasn't surprised because I always felt like Ali was very, you know, he's very passionate and he was very committed and he's very clear, you know, and he's a good guy. The thing I like the most about Ali is I love the way he treats his team. He's really kept the people that have, you know, supported him and been with him very close to him, and he treats them the same as himself. And I want to, like, you know, I don't want to speak so much about that film right now, but yeah, I'm having great fun working with him, and like you said, he has a great understanding. But I must say, for both me and Ali, the film that we're doing is going to be very different from what he has done and what I have done. So we're trying something really fresh. Of course, it's very accessible, and you know, it's a commercial film, but we're trying something very edgy and quirky. So yeah, it's been great, but I just realized that genre, action, is a very tiring genre. You know, so right now I'm feeling exhausted, and I just hope we've actually shot 65-70% of the film, and I just have, you know, a little bit left in Jan, so I'll be done with that by the first week of Feb. So it's been a quickie, but yeah, I've really enjoyed my time with
But
it.
I hope it's theatrical, given that it's a commercial.
Brother, that is totally up to the universe.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody doesn't want to bring their film out in a theater.
Correct.
So, you know, let's see how it goes.
Correct. And any last words on Jersey before signing off? Or both of you?
Please watch the
Releasing on the
film
31st of December, Jersey.
in the theaters.
It's a film very close to our hearts.
Yes.
And we hope that you can feel how we felt when we performed it.
Yeah,
And
it's
if
a
you can
special
feel that, I think we'll feel like we did
Mission
what
is
needed to be done.
accomplished.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely talking to you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you.